Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of 10-Year Transformation. I'm JD, and this week's episode is coming to you from my house in New Jersey. In the background is my bird feeder. Hopefully you get some bird guests showing up during the filming of this video. So this week's episode is a follow-up to last week, which was part one of LFG, Get Your Financial House in Order. This is LFG, part two, Get Your Financial House in Order. So I'm going to start with a simple question. How did you do? Did you turn around and take my advice to sit down and start writing out what your expenses look like? Did you figure out what your needs are versus your wants? Did you start really taking a financial assessment of your life? And the reason I broke it up into two episodes was specifically for this reason, because I wanted to be able to come back to you and ask you that question, because I think it's that important. I think it's at the root of most people's inability to really make any kind of lasting change in their life is their financial condition. And I'll tell you why I believe that. I think that people have a lot of blind spots in their life, but finances tends to be the number one blind spot. So you're looking at your life and you're kind of like, it's not so bad. It's not so bad. And that's the problem right there. You know, maybe your financial house is in perfect order. Maybe you have plenty of money in the bank. Maybe you spend exactly what you're supposed to. Maybe you're putting away exactly what you need to for a rainy day. But my suspicion is that that's probably not the case. And it wasn't the case for me either. Take this house, for example. I live in a townhouse in New Jersey. I had $1 million plus house in Staten Island. If you watch my first videos from 3 years ago, it was about downsizing and getting rid of that and getting all my everything in order. I had been a commodity trader. I'd been making a lot of money. I had bought the house. My life didn't match up where my current finances look like about 6 or 7 years ago when I started my 10-year transformation. So 3 years ago, I took an assessment and said, wait a second, there's a complete disconnect here. I'm making X, I'm living like I made Y. Y doesn't exist anymore. I have to live like I'm making X. So I was very fortunate. I sold that house. I bought this house in New Jersey. It was a townhouse, beautiful townhouse. Bought it cash, no mortgage, live within my means. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not telling you to do anything that I didn't do myself. Maybe my situation was a little bit different. Maybe it is a little bit different, all that. But I'll tell you what, the financial heartache, I don't care if you have financial heartache. If you're not making money, I don't care if you are rich, poor, it's immaterial. Financial heartache is the same, because what ends up happening is my default setting, unfortunately, is scarcity. I was raised in scarcity. My mom did the best she could, single mother, but we were continually, my mother used to use this expression, God rest her soul, we got to put 2 feet in one shoe, James. And when she said that, that meant to me no more trips to Chess King to buy, my Guido wear that I wore when I was a kid growing up. No more, whatever, extras. It didn't mean the light stayed on. I'm not trying to say that, but it meant no more extras. It meant like you got to check yourself, James. There's no money for extras. Maybe the medical insurance was due. Maybe the taxes on the house were due. Whatever it was, it meant that we were in a state of scarcity. So my default setting, when a bill pops up or something unexpected happens, business is slow, my default setting, unfortunately, is scarcity. I roll back right into the scarcity mentality I was raised with. And it's something I work on constantly, and it's a big part of my 10-year transformation is to try to eliminate this scarcity mentality. But yesterday I fell right back into it, and I had to snap myself. Wait, James, scarcity. You talk about this. You write about it. You can't live it. You got to check yourself. So that's where kind of I'm not immune to it. So, like I said, we touched on last week. Did you use an Excel spreadsheet? Did you use a Google Docs? Did you use a pen and paper on the back of a cocktail napkin while you were at Applebee's? Did you use any of these things? If you didn't do those things, I'm asking you now, press pause, press stop, watch last week's video, do it, and then come back and watch this video. Because this video is really just a gut check. It's not a lot new. I touched on most of the stuff I talked about last week, touching on this week. So there's not a lot new here. It's really a gut check. Did you do your assignment from last week? Because we're going to get into, we're going to get deep into this. We're going to start talking relationships. We're going to start talking health. We're going to start talking fitness. We're going to start talking all those things. But finances are at the core. You would be amazed how much better your life will be once you get a handle on your financial life. If you're spending within your means, if you've separated your needs versus your wants, once you separate those things and you figure out where your financial head is at, you can start worrying. You can start not worrying. You can start thinking about, I want to get my relationships in order. I want to get, I want to get my health in order. I want to climb, Mount Everest. Whatever it is that you want to do. But once you get your financial house in order, you can start doing that. You can start doing that. Like I said, I was skimming through my notes from last week. I think we touched on just about everything. Like I said, is your lifestyle in proportion to your true earnings? Something to think about. I'm going to reiterating that. What's your parachute? What's in your parachute? Your parachute. Plane. You're on a plane. Pilot says this plane's going down. We got parachutes on here. You can only grab, one or two things. Everything else has to stay on the plane. Now, picture this plane is loaded with all the stuff you've accumulated over your life. What are you grabbing when you jump out of that plane? It sounds pretty crazy. I'm not, but what I'm saying is, that's kind of what you have to think of. What do I need? When I was selling my house in Staten Island, I had a whole bunch of crap packed into this house. What did I really need? And now I think twice before I buy anything, because I say to myself, you know what? I don't really need it. Do I need the anxiety? Do I need to spend money on this? Yeah, sure, I like nice things, but do I really need it? And that's something I touched on before, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but that's kind of what I'm asking you to do, is what I did. Like I said, I'm looking at my notes. Needs versus wants. Wanting is okay. Start mapping out your financial situation. You wouldn't go anywhere, and I think I said this in my last video, you wouldn't get in your car and just, start driving west. You would figure out where your destination is, you put it into navigation, and you start heading in that direction. That's what I'm asking you to do with your financial life. Put it in your navigation, say, hey, I want to be here in 10 years. How do I get here? Make a left, make a right, make a U-turn, whatever it is, but that's how I'm going to get there. Start doing that. Start mapping out your financial direction, because this is going to come up again. I'm going to tell you 2 weeks from now, start mapping out your relationships, start mapping out your health. Mapping out, and honesty. You're going to get sick of me saying, map it out and be honest. Map it out, be honest. You're going to be sick. You'll be like, this guy's a nut. All he talks about is maps and being honest. But the reason why I say that is, radical honesty. This world we're living in, and I'm not going to start getting into, topics, talking about society in general, but this world is not being honest with themselves. We are in a distracted society that turns around and changes attention from one catastrophe to the next. Oh, COVID, yeah. Ukraine, yeah. Black Lives Matter, yeah. That's all we do, is we jump from disaster to disaster, and we turn around and we're never honest with ourselves. We don't spend enough time thinking about it, to be honest with ourselves. So what I'm saying is, that's why it's 10 years. I'm not turning around and saying, okay, this week we're going to talk about this, and then next week we're going to make a U-turn and we're going to start talking about, whatever. That's not what I'm about. I'm about radical honesty, long-term, mapping it out. A guy I know, he was introduced to me from a guy I used to have a business with, and he said to me once, everything I have I built over long periods of time with my own two hands. This guy was a billionaire. Everything I have I built over long periods of time with my own two hands. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got. He gave me that piece of advice because I had some crackpot scheme that I was trying to work on to make quick money. And this billionaire turned around and said to me, hey, everything I have I built over long periods of time with my own two hands. It's pretty good advice from a billionaire. So anyway, I don't know if any birds showed up. If they did, I get 2 types of woodpeckers. I get, what do I get? Titmouses. I get a lot of finches. I get a nuthatch. I get cardinals. I get blue jays. I had an oriole last week. Yeah. It was something I picked up, a hobby I kind of picked up during COVID. I was bored. I went in Tractor Supply, bought one of these, and now I watch birds sometimes. Anyway, this week's episode, like I said to you, I always like to plug different merchandise that I love. I'm still not making any money from it. fingers crossed one day I will, but today I'm wearing my Cadis readers / blue light glasses. I am on my computer all day long, and this really keeps me from getting headaches. And I swear by them. And plus, don't mind the fact that I'm not, my sight's going, but whatever. But the blue light glasses keep me from getting headaches while I'm sitting at my computer. Sometimes working 10 hours. So I really like them. Caddis, and these are Porgy. I got them in clear because I thought it looked pretty cool, like Rich Roll. I love that guy. But they came in blue, they come in red, they come in all different colors. So I was trying to channel Rich Roll, one of my idols. And so I started wearing these, and he has ones that he has a different brand, much more expensive. Mine are more, I think they were $100, but they were a need. So anyway, that's where we are today. My offer is still open for Purple Carrot. Nobody's taken me up at this point, but I'm still hopeful. And almost lost my. No one's taken me up yet. So in the comments section, leave your email address, and I will gift you a week of Purple Carrot, $70 value. Also, my offer still remains. For every like I get, Tutorio de Zaguetas, animal dog rescue, Costa Rica. I love dogs. I will donate $1 per like I get. And dogs are something very special to me. I love animals in general, dogs in particular. So until next week, I still haven't figured out what next week's episode is going to be. We may start the relationship angle, or we may go off in some of the other topics, storylines that I'm thinking about discussing. So that'll be next week. I hope I'm getting a little bit better with comfortable in front of being in the camera and the microphone. I'm going to upgrade equipment as I go along. I'm trying to really get comfortable in front of the camera. Now, one of the things, radical honesty. The 3-year gap in making my videos was because I hated the way I looked on camera, and I hate my voice. And I realized this is what God gave me. I can't change what I look like. I can make it the best I can. Can't change it, and I can't change my voice. But I can fine tune everything else. So hopefully these videos get better and better and better. And then when I'm on, video 2000, I'm going to look like an expert. I'm going to look back at these videos and be like, what a banana you look like. But, the help of God, that we'll get there. So Cadis Readers, Purple Carrot, Territorio de Zaguetas. I got some other products I'm going to plug as we go along. And, one day I'm going to monetize these products. They're going to be like, oh, JD, you're the reason we blew up. You're the reason we sold all these. Because it happens, man. It happens. I read about this chick on Instagram. She was wearing some top. There's two girls were making this clothes. Like, they were making it in their garage. Some girl on Instagram wore this top that she bought from these two girls. And it sold like 1 million units. So it can happen for me. I'm eternally optimistic, brutally honest, eternally optimistic, and always mapping out my future. So until next week, I'm JD. Have a heart of a lion, and we'll be at it next week. Have a great week. Take care.